Hi there folks, welcome back to another Christmas gift guide video. In the last Christmas gift guide video that I did, I shared with you a couple bottles of wine as a gift suggestion. And when I did, I mentioned that if you were interested, I would love to do a wine gift guide video. Well, I had an enormous response, so I thank you for that. Many of you are highly interested in seeing a wine gift guide, and that is what I am going to share with you today. Now, a little disclaimer before we get started. I am by no means a wine expert, but I would say that I am pretty fluent in wine, and what I mean by that is I feel that I can confidently give the gift of wine to another person, and I also feel confident in serving wine when I am hosting a party of my own. So I figure why not share what my wine selections would be with you. There are a lot of different ways that I can go with this, but if I am being really honest with myself in what I truly love to give during the holiday season, with it just being such a festive time, I believe there is no better gift than the gift of bubbly. And by bubbly, I mean sparkling wine. But before we tap into some of my sparkling wine suggestions, let me just do a little education for some of you that may not be aware of this. All champagne is sparkling wine, but not all sparkling wine is champagne. Many people are unaware of that. They just think anything that you pop a cork is champagne, but that is not the truth. And I even know back when I was a child or a teenager or even a young adult, I thought everything that popped a cork was champagne myself. I used to get Asti Spumante, and I thought I was drinking champagne. So we will do a little educating as we go along, and I will explain what is indeed champagne and what is not, and what the differences are, but I will make lots of wonderful selections as we go along. Before we dive into the bubbly recommendations, let's go over a few gift-giving tips when it comes to giving a bottle of wine. Most of the time, if you arrive at a party with a bottle of wine, it is for consumption to take place while at that party. It is kind of like showing up with a six-pack of craft beer. Obviously, that craft beer is going to be drank while at the party. Wine works the same way. On the other hand, if you know that the bottle of wine that you bring to a party you would like to be a gift to the hostess, then you are going to bring the bottle of wine in a little gift bag like this, or packaged up somehow. You could wrap cellophane around it and tie a pretty bow, whatever, but you're going to bring your bottle of wine more looking like a gift. And that generally will be the indicator to the host that this is a gift. When people arrive at parties and they have a gift that is wrapped, most of the time the host or hostess will have a designated area someplace in their home where they set the gifts to the side so that they can open them later. It's very inconvenient when you are hosting a party to be opening your gifts while all of the guests are there. I know for myself, when hosting a party, we're so busy doing the setup and we're engaging in conversation with all of our guests, it's very difficult to open a gift. Unless somebody asks me to open it, I generally will just set the gift to the side. Wine works the same way. So if you bring the wine, again, not wrapped up, usually the indicator is going to be it's going to be enjoyed and consumed while at the party. If the bottle of wine is wrapped up, the indicator is that it is for the host to enjoy at a later time. That being said, if you do arrive to the party with a bottle of bubbly or wine that you would like to be enjoyed while at the party, I would recommend that you pick something that you would enjoy. And obviously we know sparkling wine, like white wine, gets served chilled. This doesn't usually mean freezing. Just chilled is usually enough. So what you would want to do when you arrive at the party and you hand the bottle of wine to the host and it's not chilled yet, you would just say, please put this on some ice and we can enjoy it later. Chances are the host already has other chilled wine to serve and you can enjoy that one later when one of the other ones runs out. Again, there is nothing like sparkling wine during the holidays. So again, I just have to emphasize that would be my pick for sure. But if I were giving a bottle of wine, let's say for them to enjoy later, and I didn't want to give a sparkling wine, I'm generally going to lean towards something that is very familiar. We are not always certain if the person hosting the party knows a lot about wine, is an avid wine drinker, so you're always kind of at that risk. I don't think you can go wrong with a bottle of Cabernet Sauvignon. That's always a great selection. That is going to be a familiar name. I absolutely love to give a bottle of Bordeaux as a gift. Again, that's something everybody is going to be familiar with. Chianti is another one that many people are well aware of, so I think those are great suggestions. I will definitely list a few down below that I feel make a great recommendation as far as a Chianti, a Cabernet Sauvignon, and a Bordeaux. The thing that I would look for is price point. There are wines in every price budget. This Caymus Cabernet Sauvignon is going to run you close to $80. So that is really stepping up there. I don't know that I would want to give this a gift to someone unless I truly knew they were a wine connoisseur. If I received a bottle of Caymus, I would know that somebody spent a lot of money to give me this bottle, but not everybody would know that. This bottle of Bordeaux right here, beautiful bottle, this is gonna run you maybe about $16, $17, so very affordable, but a wonderful Bordeaux. That's a great price point. I wouldn't pick up anything in like the $8 and under range. I tend to stick with something $15 or over because I'm generally going to get a little bit better quality wine in that price point. This Chianti by Ruffino, they do have a couple different ones. This one is probably going to run you around 20, maybe a little bit more, but these are all wonderful selections for a good red wine and definitely something that is a recognizable name. Now, let's dive into the bubbly, the sparkling wine, and we are going to start out with the granddaddy of them all, and that is champagne. Mark Twain once said, "Too much of anything is bad, but too much champagne is always just right," and I could not agree more. Let me tell you a little bit about champagne. This is going to be the highest price point, so if you are going to give the gift of champagne, this is where you are going to spend the most. Champagne is going to run you about $40 as a starting point. This champagne right here would be a great one. This is a Brut. It is not extra Brut. Brut is going to be very dry. Brut is not going to be sweet at all, but extra Brut is even going to be less sweet. I actually prefer a Brut or maybe even like a demi-sec, which is going to be even a little sweeter. There are different levels to sweetness, but really what I would say is if you're giving the gift of champagne, you're not going to go wrong with a Brut. You're going to find the majority of them as a Brut. Now let me just tell you a little bit about champagne and why all sparkling wine is not champagne. The only way that a bottle of champagne is if it was made in the region in France called Champagne. That is a small region. I think it's maybe east of Paris. I'm really not sure, don't quote me on it, but it is a small region, and the only way that it is called Champagne is, and it will say champagne. If it doesn't say champagne on the bottle, it's not champagne, it's sparkling wine. It has to come from Champagne, and it is also a certain method. There is a method to how they make champagne, but truly, if you want to know you're picking up champagne, you are going to see the word champagne on there. If you really want to impress someone, I would recommend you get them a bottle of champagne. Again, there are non-vintage, there are vintage. If you go to a wine shop, they will be able to help you when you tell them what price points you want, but again, it's generally going to be over $40. You also have your bigger names like Dom Perignon, we're all familiar with that. Those are made in mass quantities, but you also have your grower champagnes, which are wonderful. Those are going to be more like your boutique champagnes. Don't hesitate to pick up one of those. They're wonderful, and they are going to put you in a little bit better price point, but can never go wrong with champagne. If you want to impress your boss and you want to jump up there a little bit in price range or really impress someone, I would say spend the money on a good champagne and make sure it is champagne. But again, you are going to pay for what you get. Now, a little kid sister to champagne is CREMANT. Now, Cremant is wonderful. Now, let's just say you wanted to have something that was a lot like champagne, but you wanted to save a little bit of money, or if you were serving champagne at your party, but you wanted to save a little bit more money, because if you had to buy several bottles, champagne can get pricey. Cremant is wonderful. The only difference between Cremant and champagne is Cremant is still made in France, but it is made in any other region other than Champagne. That is why it cannot be called champagne. It is a wonderful sparkling wine. I highly recommend it. And it's really your affordable way to get the quality of champagne without paying the price of champagne. Next, we have CAVA, and CAVA is like kind of the kid's sister to champagne. After Cremant, I would say comes CAVA. Now, CAVA, again, is a sparkling wine. It's not made in France. CAVA is going to come from Spain, and this one here is a rosé. Now, any of the sparkling wines or even champagne, you can also get them in a rosé. The only difference with the rosé, again, it's going to be made all with red berries, but they do a method where they use the skin, and that's where it gets its rosé color or its rose color. This one is a rosé. This is Raventos. This is a great brand for CAVA. CAVA, again, is going to be at the next level down, but still would be a lovely bottle to give as a gift. Anything that I show you today, I would give as a gift. So there's nothing here that I wouldn't give. It just depends on what price point it falls in. This bottle of CAVA was about $27, so not too bad. Definitely not getting up there into the champagne, which I paid a little over $40 for the bottle of champagne that I had shared with you. So this is going to be much more budget friendly. Next up, we have Prosecco, and a lot of people love Prosecco. This is probably, I would say, when it comes to flavor and taste, this is probably going to be one of the most popular sparkling wines. This is going to be a little bit softer on the palate. Prosecco comes from Italy, and it is made a little bit different. It is made in big tanks versus how Champagne, Cremant, Cava, those are made differently. Those are all made in the same method as Champagne. They just weren't made in Champagne, and that's again why they're not called Champagne. Prosecco is made a little bit differently because it's made in big tanks. Because of that, it is a little bit milder sparkling wine, so this ends up being a real favorite. I think Prosecco is a great one to serve at a party. Highly would recommend this. That is what I will be serving the most at the party that we will be having this coming weekend. The reason for that is I know it is very flavorful but very mild. It's a softer type of flavor. You can get Proseccos a little sweeter. You could do like a demi-sec if you know that a lot of people at your party like more of a sweeter wine, but you can also do more of a Brut, which is going to be not so sweet and a little bit drier. But Prosecco is a great one. The other thing that's beautiful about Prosecco is it's super affordable. You can get Prosecco for $10, $15. I paid $18.99 for this bottle of Prosecco right here, and I just think Prosecco makes a lovely gift. It's a name that people will recognize, so I don't think you can go wrong giving a bottle of Prosecco. Also, I think that a bottle of Prosecco as a rosé would make a wonderful gift, especially if you are going to a party and it's a female hostess. She would probably love to receive a rosé Prosecco. That is pretty much the sparkling wine favorites. There is also Asti, and many of you are very familiar with Asti. It's very affordable. You can get a bottle for like $7.99, something like that. Again, it is not champagne. It is a sparkling wine. It is very sweet. So for beginner wine drinkers, that is a great one. Also, it's very affordable. So a lot of times it's right in their price point. I used to love drinking that. Now it's a little bit too much like candy. But you know, it's a safe drink. It's going to be a little bit lower alcohol wise, so it's a great starter for your younger people. If you are giving the gift of wine to, let's say, somebody that is younger, maybe they just recently got to the legal age where they can drink and they're still enjoying pretty much all sweet type wines, they're Moscato drinkers, things like that, then I think you are going to want to go with a little cheaper sparkling wine, maybe something fun and festive, and something that is going to be sweeter. I have here this strawberry sparkletini right here. I love the festive bottle. I love how it's red. It also came in raspberry. This was only $7.99. It is going to be sweet. and it's going to be pretty poured into a glass, so I don't think you could go wrong, especially with somebody that is younger and, like I said, a more newer wine drinker. My girls that are in their early 20s, they would love something like this. I also have this adorable bottle here, and I believe this one was maybe $7.99 as well. It says Happy Holidays. This is a spumante. This is extra sec. So that the sec means sweet. So this is going to be extra sweet. So this is another great one to give to someone. Not only is it super festive and fun, but it's great to give for that beginning wine drinker. I know for the party that we are hosting this weekend, we have different ages and different taste of wine drinkers. So I plan on doing a variety, but I'm going to serve all sparkling wine because, again, you just can't go wrong with some bubbly. The other thing about sparkling wine is it pairs with everything. Sparkling wine is absolutely amazing with food. It's my favorite, and it's just something about the bubbles. It just does so much with the palate to mix with different foods, so you just cannot go wrong this time of year serving anything but sparkling wine. Everybody's gonna love it, and there's such a variety, so you could definitely have a variety. So something like this, I'm going to serve at our party because a lot of the younger wine drinkers and even people that just prefer sweeter wine in general will enjoy more of this, but then I'm also going to have some of the big daddies as well. So we will have a nice mix. I had shared these beauties in the gift guide. I absolutely think these are so awesome to show up at a party with. These are very inexpensive. They're about $15, and these are sangria. We have a red sangria. We have a white sangria. You can buy these by the case, so you could give these out as gifts, whatever you wanted to do. I think these are so fun, and who doesn't love sangria? So you can't go wrong, and I like anything in a very festive bottle. So recommend everything that I am sharing with you. I would love to receive everything I am sharing with you today. I know that you guys love to hear little gift giving, little ideas for packaging up your gifts. So again, when it comes to a bottle of wine, if you don't want it to be served, you can always show up with it in a gift bag just like this, or you can just tie a little ribbon around it just like this, which that might necessarily not be enough to let the person know it's not to be served, but I still think that just adds a little festive touch. You can also put a little ornament, tie a little ribbon around it, something festive just to be more of that little pop that goes with the pop of the season. And I totally love when somebody shows up at an ugly Christmas sweater party and they bring a bottle of a wine with an ugly Christmas sweater on it. So I think that is so fun and so festive. So that is another thing that you can do. And if you want to vamp it up a little bit more, I think doing a acrylic beverage bucket like this one right here, putting some grass in it. I put the green grass in this bucket. And what I did is I picked up this little cute festive box of Lindt chocolate truffles, which is one of my favorites. And I put that inside right in here. And then I am going to add in this pretty bottle right here of the strawberry sparkletini. I am going to wrap this up in cellophane, and I am going to put this bow on the top. I didn't want to do it yet because I wanted to show you a little gift idea, because I know many of you love to have gift ideas. Something like this is going to cost you right around $25 to $30. There's another option if you wanted to give a beverage bucket like this as a gift. If you and your husband were showing up at a party, you could fill this beverage bucket with ice, put the bottle of wine that you are bringing to the party, and he could put his 6 craft beers in there. When you walk in, you hand it to the host and you say, "Merry Christmas. We are looking forward to having a very good time." And they would have that beverage bucket to keep after the party was all done. So I think that's another great thing to do. What a little wild card to add into the gift is something very clever like that. Can't go wrong. Although I am holding a bottle of Tito's vodka, I'm not going to get into gift giving liquors, but I also do think that makes a wonderful gift. But I did have to share this cute one that we had picked up as a gift for somebody, and it has a little sweater on it as well. So I just had to add that in and show that to you too. Well, there you have it, the wine gift guide. I hope you found this video to be not only helpful with your gift giving and wine serving needs, but also got a little bit educated on the difference between the sparkling wines. You can never go wrong giving a little bubbly. There is nothing like that pop during the holiday season. So thank you so much for joining me. I look forward to see you in the next video. Don't forget comments and suggestions down below. All right, take care. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, and be festive and keep it positive. All right, mwah.